Hello fellow makeup lovers, how are you guys doing today? So I am very excited for this video because I'm going to be doing a Q&A, and I asked y'all on Instagram stories and on the YouTube community tab to ask me questions that were a little bit more deep or meaningful, just because I thought it would be nice to talk about more than just makeup, and I just like to be able to connect with you guys on a personal level. So I thought that this would be a fun video to do, and you guys asked me some amazing questions. So I'm very, very excited to answer them. I did say that I can't promise I'll answer every single question just because, like, I mean, not everything has to be public. Some things should be private. So I will keep some things to myself. So if I don't answer your question completely or fully, I do apologize, but privacy. I just have two quick things to say before we jump into the questions. One is, if you're wondering what's on my face, I'm going to make sure to leave it all down below, but I have been wearing this makeup for like 9 hours, so if it doesn't look perfect, other than lipstick, the lipstick I just applied, but everything else has been on for a hot minute. And two, if you want to know a little bit more background about some of the things I'm going to be talking about, like being a single mom, and getting divorced and all that, I will leave a video down below I did talking about how I left my abusive marriage. Which is a very vulnerable video for me, but the response was amazing, and some of what you might be curious about, or if you're newer to my channel and you didn't see that, that might answer any questions that might be confusing in this video. I don't know because I'm not going to go like fully in depth on my story, so if you want to watch that, I will make sure to link it down below. So I figured I would go ahead and start off with the question that y'all asked me the absolute most, and that is if I have a day job. And no, I do not have a normal 8 to 5 job, but that is definitely not to say that I don't do anything. There is definitely more to this story and some personal things that I want to keep private just because I'm not ready to open up about them right now. So there's more to the story, but basically, my son is 2 years old and I stay home with him. I take care of him. Childcare is very expensive and it just feels right to be home with him. I'm able to do this right now because I do not have that many bills because I'm living with my parents. They are awesome, and I do still help out, and I do have some bills, but definitely not as many as I would have if I was on my own, which is also really, really great for my anxiety because I feel like it would be really bad if I was living by myself at this point. I think it would be bad for my mental health until I feel more secure. And I do YouTube whenever my son is sleeping, when he goes to nap during the afternoon. He normally sleeps for 3 hours every afternoon, which is amazing. That's when I film sometimes. And then I also film and edit in the evening. So those are my 2 times to work on YouTube. And that's normally about 6 hours a day, I would say, that I dedicate to YouTube. Although I'll like a little wiggle room because a lot of time I am multitasking, or sometimes when I'm doing part of my makeup, I'm watching a show or something, which that way I still get a little bit of me time. And I love doing YouTube, and this just works perfectly for me right now, and I want to keep doing it. I want to keep growing, and it just makes me really, really happy to do. So just want to say at this moment, thank you so, so much for watching my videos, for commenting, for liking, for using my codes, my links, anything like that. I thank you guys so, so much for all of your support and your kindness. It means a lot to me. And I also do a lot of babysitting as well, which is helpful. I love babysitting because it's like the perfect job because I can bring Roman with me. And then, you know, any odd jobs I'll take. You know, I do whatever I can, and I'm trying to save as much as I can and be responsible. So it all kind of balances out, and I'm making by, but I definitely don't make extravagant purchases. In the past, it's been makeup, but it's been makeup for my channel, which I've stopped doing that. Thank you, Jesus. But like, I don't treat myself very often. I don't go out to eat very often. So I definitely would say I live like more of a simple life. I barely ever buy clothes or anything like that. So I definitely live like a more frugal life, I would say, to make this work right now, and it does work, and I'm so grateful to be at home with my son. I will definitely admit that in the past I've been irresponsible, and I have had treat myself attitudes in moments when I should have had a saving attitude, which is something that I'm trying to work on. But I would say I am definitely open to having a part-time job in the future. I think it would be amazing to just talk to people, to have that human, like, adult connection, because, you know, I'm with a child all day long and I'm not that social. I only do something like once a month with some ladies from my church, and that's pretty much all that I do except for go to church. So I don't live the life of a normal 21-year-old at the least. So that's my answer. And like I said, there's more to it that I just don't want to talk about right now. Okay, so I feel like I'm definitely going to butcher some of these names, and I apologize in advance. But Maheen Shaikh said, do you think having been in an abusive relationship has made you non-confrontational and changed you in certain ways? She asked more questions, but I'll stop there. As far as being non-confrontational, I would say that I still confront someone if I really need to. I think that it's an important part of life, and that you need to be able to communicate and talk about things and not let someone use you like a doormat. Like, you have to be able to stand up for yourself and confront sometimes. It's important. And I will confront someone if I have to, but the confrontation makes me feel sick to my stomach, anxious, like I don't want to eat, and it makes me just feel like I need to shut down as a person. I do not like it at all. I shake, I tremble, like it's just no. I was about to say no me gusta. I don't like it at all. So I lean towards non-confrontational, but like I said, I think sometimes it has to happen. I'm not completely, but it takes a lot out of me emotionally. And as far as changing me in certain ways, I feel like it's changed me in more ways than I could possibly explain. But if I had to sum it up into two things, one would be that I feel a lot more mature. I don't really get along. Not that I don't get along. I don't relate to people my age. And a lot of people tell me that even though I look like I'm a 12-year-old, that I am more of a mature person. I don't have a single friend where I live who is my age. Everyone is like in their 40s and beyond. So I just feel like people my age, like they're 21, they're like finishing college, they're living their best life, and I'm like, I'm a divorced single mom. So it's a completely different life for me. And I just don't relate that well. Not that I'm not open to friendships with people my age. It just doesn't happen. And then the other thing is that I feel like in a lot of ways I distrust people more. I kind of lost that like blissful ignorance of life being perfect and everything going the way it should, and I'm more cautious, I would say. Okay, and then she also said, and how are you working on getting back the individuality you lost? I think this would help others who may be in such relationships currently, or be cathartic for those on the same road to self-love as you. Okay, so getting back who I was, I don't know how to explain this, but I feel like a huge part of feeling like me again was getting back into reading books, because I lost that for a long time. And I feel like whenever I started reading again, it was like a piece of my soul was put back into place, just because it was so important to me. And I used to love books so much, and I am such a sucker for a good story. Like, I love stories. I love novellas. I love movies. I love series. I love books. I love any story. Like, I love stories, listening to older people talk about like their life. I just love stories. I don't know how to explain it. So I feel like that brought back a piece of me. I don't know how to explain it exactly, because I think that it could definitely be very individual to each person. But I think that if you are in the wrong relationship, you give up pieces of yourself to mold yourself to be with that person. And I think that with the right person, you would both be able to be the truest form of yourself. So I think it depends on what pieces you lost, are what you have to regain and how you have to regain them. But I think just being okay with doing it by yourself and just being happy to be by yourself is a huge part, and being content to be single, which is something I want to do like a whole Chatty Wednesday on, is just being happy and being single and not worrying about having a man. So I hope to do that in the future. Okay, so the next question is from Chris31, and she said, are you vegan? If not, why is cruelty-free important to you? I am not vegan. I would love to be vegetarian one day, but at this moment in my life, I feel like it's not possible, just because I live with a lot of people, and it would be a lot of money and a lot of effort to make my own meal every single day, instead of being with everyone else and making it easy, which that might sound like a stupid reason. A lot of the stuff that I do eat is local, like free range, but I know a lot of people don't care. Like, you're still eating meat. And basically, that's the reason I happened across deciding to be cruelty-free. It wasn't like some big decision. I just decided at this moment I can't be vegetarian. So what is a step that I can take in the right direction to do something productive? And I decided it was going to be cruelty-free. It wasn't that deep. I wasn't researching things. I didn't know anything about being cruelty-free. I just decided one day that I was going to be, and I've stuck with it ever since. And I've researched some things since then, and I've learned more, and I feel a little bit more passionate about it. I don't judge people for not being cruelty-free. Like, you do whatever you want to do. And there's definitely more to the ethics of buying things besides just being cruelty-free, like buying fast fashion or supporting, like, for example, MAC, for one, is not cruelty-free, but they are someone who is actively working to change the cruelty-free laws. So I feel like there is more to it. I don't know. I'm not perfect. I make mistakes. I don't know everything. I just decided that was one step that I could take. I also feel like where I am, like, is not a great place to be not cruelty-free, sorry. It's not a great place to be vegetarian, because, like, I've seen in big cities that there are so many options where you could go and eat things like, man, I was watching Total Divas, the WWE show, and it was The Miz and Maurice, and she tricked him to eating a burger that was vegan, and he thought it was a real burger because that's how good it is, and they're in California, and I'm like, I would love that. I would love to have good substitutes, but where I am, I don't have any restaurants like that at all. Like, everything here, well, actually, pizza is vegetarian if you eat just cheese pizza, which I love cheese pizza, but basically, it is a goal for one day in my life for me to make that diet change, but not now, so that's why I went cruelty-free. Sorry for rambling so long. That's the gist of it. Okay, we do have a few slightly less deep questions, but I'm going to go ahead and answer them anyways. Okay, Stephanie Elizondo said, if you could make a palette, what would be the theme, color scheme, and the cover design? Girl, I'm trying to have a collab one day. I can't tell you all that. For real, I do have an idea of what I would like to do, if it was a possibility, so I can't give my secrets away. Next is from Boujity Boob. She said, apparently when it's almost time for bed, I can think of some weird questions. If makeup brands would be people, which brand would be your best friend and which one would be your foe? I feel like my best friend would probably be Too Faced, because Too Faced is a little crazy, and I feel like if Too Faced was a person, they would be the one who has like some really crazy stories, and they're like always involved in some drama, and they're like, you're not gonna believe what happened to me, this guy, he did this. That would be Too Faced, I think, and I think that would be entertaining. As far as my foe, I feel like I don't know, maybe Tarte. I don't know. I can't answer that very well. Next is, if magic is real, what would be a beauty thing you would most like to have? I've already answered this before. I would want all my brushes magically washed every time I was done with them. If you're not allowed to ever wear makeup again, but in return you'll experience a truly happy life, would that be an easy or secretly a difficult choice? That would be easy. If I could trade makeup for my entire life being happy, I would choose happiness 100%. All right. From Juliana Wellinger, she said, why is using cruelty-free products important to you morally, emotionally, economically? Like I said, I would say morally, if I had to choose between them, because I just want to do something in the right way. Like, I can't do the full walk, but at least I can take a step. So that's why I did it. Okay. Next question is from Yensid, and she said, if money and childcare were no obstacle, would you pursue a degree or degrees in any field of study? If not, what would you like to learn more about or have training in? Okay. I would love to study linguistics. That would be a dream, is to study different languages and to be a translator or something. I would love that. I love the idea of languages. I feel like it's such an experience to learn them and to learn about a different culture and a whole different life. I think a lot about how where you're born completely changes everything that you know in the world and the way that you talk and the way that you act. And I just think it's amazing to get to know different cultures, basically, which is why, like, it's always been important to me to learn Spanish. I love the Spanish language, and I remember like when I was like 9 years old getting a book that was like my first 100 words in Spanish. No, it was, I think, 1,000 words in Spanish, and I still have that somewhere, and I'm still working on it, on knowing everything that there is to know, even though that's impossible because there's still English words that I don't know and English things that I mess up, and that's my native language. But yes, I am in love with languages, and I think that would be amazing. Other languages that I would like to study would definitely be French. I learned a little bit of French, but not very much. Basically, the only thing that I can remember is how to sing the conjugation of, what's it called? Oh gosh, I can't even remember what the actual verb is, but it's je suis, tu es, elle est, on est, nous sommes, vous êtes, ils sont, hi ho, je suis. And basically it goes on and on. That's basically all I remember from French except for numbers. Anyways, I would love to learn more French. I think German would be really scary and challenging, but I've heard that German and English are similar, so maybe German. I love listening to Paulina. Why can't I remember her YouTube name right now? Paulina's Beauty. She does a word of the day in Swedish every single video now, and I love that, even though I feel like I literally can't say the words that she says. Like, I try to say them and it just doesn't sound right at all, like not even close. I'm also very intrigued by Russian, which is crazy. That's a whole nother world, like a whole nother alphabet. So those are some languages I would love to learn. Ooh, Italian too is spoken with such passion. I have watched one show in Italian, and it's kind of funny picking up the little bit of French and the little bit of Spanish that was in there. Those were the only words I could pick up, like manger, manger in French is to eat, and it's the same in Italian, or at least it sounds the same. I don't know if it's the same. Don't listen to me. I've never learned anything Italian. I just watched one show. Anyways, like I said, I love languages, so that would definitely be what I would want to study the most. But also there's a part of me that says, like, can you have a career with that? I don't know. Because there's a lot of people who already know lots of languages, so it's like, is it really a necessary field like two people need? Like, I don't know the ins and outs of that, but that's something that I feel passionate about. My camera is already like dying. I've taken forever to answer these questions. Okay, next is, if you could only keep between 15 to 20 makeup items, what would you keep and why? Oh my gosh, girl, you can't make me answer that. What kind of books do you enjoy reading? I definitely love romance. That's my go-to, and I love historical fiction. That is my favorite. I love reading stories like based in the 1800s or like early 1900s. I have so many recommendations for those kind of books. I need some plot, I need suspense, I need plot twists. All right, next is Vanessa Lou Conti, and she said, I know it's cliche, but if you could meet and have a conversation with 3 people from history, who would you choose and what would you ask? Marilyn Monroe. I want to know the tea. Was she with the president?
Happy birthday, Mr. President.
Jesus. What was the tea? Just kidding. Really though, I think it'd be cool to meet Jesus. One day. One more person. Oh, this is so hard. I'm gonna have to go with Mary Tudor. I mean, I want to like be protected so she can't kill me, but I feel like it'd be really cool to meet her because she was the real Bloody Mary, in case you didn't know that. So those are 3 people that I can think of really quickly. I'm sure if I thought about this longer, I could think of more people, but okay. Eliza Eustace said, what is one thing you would stand up for no matter what? And I would say that's the people having the right to their own opinion. What is one thing you would stand against no matter what? I would say I would stand against racism, homophobia, anytime that someone takes an entire group of people and lumps them into one category and wants to give them blame or call them something, I am against that. I feel like there's no way that you can take hundreds or thousands or millions of people, put them together and say all people that are this are like this. All people that are, like, for example, for me being a Christian, if you said all Christians are judgmental, I can't stand the idea, like, taking everyone ever and putting them into one group. And this goes for every single religion, every single bias that is out there. I'm like, it's just, there's no possibility for it to be true. So I don't like that. That's something I stand against. Are you religious at all? Yes, I am. I believe in God. I believe in Jesus. I grew up Baptist. I have a tattoo that you can't see right now that is a cross that is made up of faith, which is important to me. So yes, I am religious. Brittany Mann said, biggest pet peeve: people who are extremely judgmental and cannot, they are so close-minded that they are not willing to hear the experience of other people. Stevie Lauren said, what is your worst fear? Dying and leaving my son alone. That is my biggest fear. I know it's kind of morbid, but that's what it is. Emily and Max said, where do you see yourself in 5 years? Hopefully happy, hopefully Roman's happy, and that's all I can hope for. I do not know. Who knows? The future's crazy. Vera said, how is your co-parenting relationship going? I am the only one who has custody of my son in this moment, and since he was an infant, I am the only one who has had him, and I communicate with my ex when I need to, and I try my best not to, and that's basically the story. Jessica Sherman said, do you live with you and your son, or do you just live with your roommates or parents? I live with my entire family. It's honestly like a sitcom. Okay, Cindy Moore said, if you were given a chance to tour a facility where cosmetics are produced, is there a facility or brand you would like to tour the most? And I would definitely love to go to an indie brand and see what they do and what their workspace is. And I was thinking about it, and I would love to visit Cleona Cosmetics in Canada and see their setup and what they do, because I feel like I've seen little sneak peeks and I'm intrigued. So I would choose Cleona. Okay, Stacy Cute said, if a situation led you to abandon all your makeup collection, would you consider having less products, and which one would be repurchased? Hoping this never happens. Okay, I feel like this would be a whole video, like what I would buy, but I would have way less products. Way less. I would only buy the top best products. If you took time away from filming videos, would you pursue in going to school? It's never too late to start. I have thought about it, and I'm open to it. I actually dreamt last night about going to a school and studying Spanish. So I don't know. I'm open to it, but I'm not sure at this moment. Christine Newman said, how is your son? Give us an update. He is doing amazing. He is very quiet. He's very curious. He gets into a lot of things. My favorite thing that he does right now is when he gets upset and I ask him to do something, he lays on the ground and has a silent protest, is what I like to call it. I think it's hysterical. The Sims Boutique said, is being a single mom hard? Yes, it is. Nancy Moon Rush said, which brand would you like to work with most if you had a choice, and why? I'm open to so many. I love so many brands. I would say I would be super excited about Juvia's Place. Not like saying a collab or anything, but like I want Juvia's Place to know who I am so bad. Like, it's the struggle. Also, I think maybe a collab with Makeup Geek and to do like a really fun color story would be really amazing. And also, I love Marlena, so that's an idea. All right, AC said, do you think you'll start dating soon? Oh, hell no! Okay, Carla Moffat said, you mentioned a friend that had a past life experience. Did you believe this actually happened to him, or rather, do you believe in NDE? Not sure exactly what NDE is, but I completely believe the person who told me about their story when they were in a coma and that they were in heaven and that they saw colors they had never seen before and he had walked with Jesus. I believe it 100%, and I don't know what word to say about it. But also I'm kind of more open to those kind of things. Alexandria Martins said, have you ever been hurt by a comment or attitude towards you on social media? Yes, I have. Do you ever feel uncomfortable with the public exposure on social media? Not at this moment. I feel okay. Are you less trusting after what you went through in your relationship with Roman's father? Yes, I am. Completely less trusting. Marielle Hinojosa said, what advice would you give to someone such as myself who has recently gone through a breakup and is trying to figure out where to go from here? I don't have children and I know my options are plenty, but I'm currently 31, unemployed, not college educated, and feel stagnant in my life. My mental health issues, including but not limited to anxiety, OCD, and depression, hold me back from pursuing career options. I'm considering a cosmetology course to become a freelance MUA, but am more interested in becoming a desirologist, a funeral cosmetology. I think that would be super cool to do makeup on the deceased. Okay, so I feel like for going through a breakup and not knowing what you're doing, feeling stagnant, I completely understand, and I would say just take it day by day. And I feel like there's such this idea, and I think it's like a human thing where we just think like, I'm gonna do this and this and this and then I'll be happy. And I feel like we have to remember to choose happiness now, even when everything in our life is not perfect, when things aren't going the way we want to. We still have to remember to be content in these moments, because this is life. Life is not just the ups, it's the downs too. It's those stagnant, like when nothing is happening good or nothing's happening bad. That's all part of life. So I feel like just remember to try and choose happiness. And I know it's really hard with mental health and dealing with like that internal struggle of depression, taking away any motivation and any energy that you have, and then your anxiety like basically bullying you in your mind of all the things that you should be doing and what should be different, and like you have to do this, and basically just like tearing you apart. I understand it completely, and I would say you just make that choice to be happy. And I know I'm not trying to say that you can like not choose to be depressed or anything, because it's definitely not a choice. It is real. And I think that the only way that I've found to get through it is to just keep going. Just have to take it one day at a time. And I don't know if that's horrible advice, but I think that everything will come together, and like I said, enjoy the ups and the downs in life. Enjoy every moment, even the ones that you feel like you shouldn't be enjoying, that you should be doing something different. It's all part of the struggle and the path and the journey of life. Netra Niahas, oh gosh, she said, what are your non-makeup hobbies, assuming you have any free time, mama? That is funny. My favorite hobbies are stories, reading books and watching novellas, and do I do anything besides that would be considered a hobby? I don't think so. I want to scrapbook, but I haven't. I used to cross stitch, but I have not in a long time. Maddie Meets World said, what is your number one goal right now? Long or short term, it doesn't matter. My number one goal in my life is to protect Roman and to do everything I can to give him a good life. He is my number one priority in everything, no matter what I do. Jazzy Butts Does Makeup said, worst indie makeup experience, and I would say probably Beauty Escape Cosmetics, but they have tried to get better. I have not purchased from them yet, but I did do a video on my experience. No, I think I took it down now because they are rebranding and doing better things, but that was my first real bad experience. She also asked, how long have you been single? I would say it's coming up on 2 years. 2 amazing years. Me, myself, and I, and Roman, and I love it. All right, Neckoffman88 said, tell us more about your son. I don't know. He's 2. He's an angel. Tiwashir said, what are your views on abortion? How about feminism? I feel like you're trying to get me in trouble with this question. I do have my views, and I think that I see things from both sides. As pretty much everything, I always see things from both sides, and I'm not going to start anything. So I'm not going to answer, but I will say that I am very, very passionate about, I wish that everyone, like, I feel like social media for weeks has been nothing but talking about abortion, and I wish that we could have the same talking about adoption and talking about the kids that are alive and who have no family and who all of their belongings are in garbage bags. That's how they move places, and who are waiting for a family, the kids who are aging out of the system. And can you imagine aging out of the system, being 18 and having no one? The statistics are horrible, and I just wish that the people who are going crazy had this same heart for adoption. I'm like, if you like, I just want to talk about adoption. That's what I want to talk about, because fostering and adopting is so important. There are so many children in this country who don't have a family, and people think like you have to be so special to adopt or foster, and it's like you don't have to. And if you're worried about fostering, and like people think like, oh, I couldn't do that, like it'll hurt my heart if they get taken away. Yes, but they need to know that they are loved, that someone will take care of them. Like, is your heartbreak more important than children never having a home, never knowing that someone in the world cares for them, that they are not like, I've seen someone describe their experience before in foster care, that they just felt like they were a burden. And I feel like no child, I'm gonna cry, no child should feel like they're a burden. So I'd rather talk about that. I think that that's what we need to talk about as a country. TED Talk over. I don't even watch The Office, so don't hate me. All right, she also asked about feminism, and I do believe in feminism, and I believe that it is just, you know, being able to fight for equality of men and women. It's not like people think that if you are a feminist that it means you hate men, and that's not right. That's definitely not what it is, and I am so grateful for the feminists in the past who are the reason I get to wear pants and the reason I get to vote, and I think I owe a lot to them. All right, Gilly Pie said, what event has had the biggest impact on your life? Becoming a mom. Bcroft823 said, best date you have ever been on or want to go on. I've never been on an amazing date. Honestly, I didn't even date that much. But I would want to go on. Someone take me to Paris, please. Dream engagement ring. I literally could care less about jewelry. That is not something I care about at all. And it's not something I'm picky about. Kel Williamson said, will you ever get married again? I don't know, possibly, but I feel like I am not looking in any way. I feel like it would take a special man to be able to take down the walls around my heart, and for me to trust them, and for, you know, like to pursue me, because pursuing me would also be pursuing Roman. He is part of my heart, part of me. We are a package deal. So it's not something I'm looking for. Oh my gosh, my camera's dying. There's so many more questions. Decisions. Okay. Bia and the Daily Thing said, how is it to be a single mom? Does it make you lonely or leave some wishes unfulfilled? It definitely is lonely. It's not the way that things are supposed to be, but it's okay. Like, I'm gonna keep going, and I feel like that's the thing about being a mom, or at least being a good mom, is that the only option you have is to keep going, because you love your children more than anything. So that's what I do. Leaving some wishes unfulfilled, possibly, but I don't like to think about that. S. Martin 762 said, as a mom, what do you do to take care of yourself and keep yourself mentally and emotionally? I don't. I don't do anything special. I just keep living life. Samantha Milla said, you mentioned you like to read. What genres do you reach for? I already answered that. And what is your favorite book? My favorite book from last year was the Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. That was a really good book, and it had 2 plot twists, and I was living. Okay. Sheila Boonse said, if you could go back and never get married, never have your son, would you? That's a loaded question. I love my son more than anything, but I do feel like getting married was incredibly stupid. I will admit that, but life, I can't go back, so I'm not even going to think about it. Uber Puppy said, are you going to do more makeup minimalism videos like Project Pants, etc.? Possibly. I'm really focusing on Shop My Stash right now and focusing on that each month, so that's my goal. Annette's Makeup Corner said, what is your biggest regret in life? My biggest regret is that growing up, I cared so much about love that I thought that that was the most important thing in life, was to have a man and to have a second half. And like, that's what I thought was the most important thing, was to have a relationship. And I feel like it's not. And I feel like I didn't value friendships or family relationships as much because I thought like I needed someone to love me. And I think that's a very toxic mindset, and it's not the most important thing in life. It's good if you can find it, but I just think I was stupid, and I thought like I have to find love, and I'm like, go to college. She's Blessed X3 said, do you co-parent or is it all you? It is all me, 24/7. Rooney Cartoony said, what is the most important thing you hope to instill in your son? I hope that he is a good man and treats whoever he decides to love very well, and that he is able to make decisions on his own, and that he's intelligent, and that he has a good heart and will help people in need. Mariah McCooney said, what is it like being a single mother? The hardest part. I love your channel so much. Thank you. The hardest part is when I'm sick and Roman's sick and I have to take care of both of us and I have no energy. I feel horrible and he's crying and I'm miserable. The hardest part is when we're both down, that there's no one to take care of me except me. So that's definitely a hard part. And also just like certain times of the year, like Christmas, I'm like, it's kind of sad, like just being alone and like times that are supposed to be so romantic. But I kind of let go of that and I'm just like happy. Like I just want to be content as I am. And as far as as far as what it's like being a single mother, it's having someone depend on you all the time with no breaks and never being alone. Silly Shenanigans said, you're a single mom, correct? How do you manage the responsibilities and your YouTube? I do YouTube when he's sleeping. Wolkspringen said, do you have any tips about dealing with loneliness and guilt as a single mom/parent? Guilt is real. The guilt of like, I can't even explain it, but I just tell myself I'm going to love him as much as two parents would. I love him unconditionally. So I just try to let go of the guilt, but it is definitely there. And as far as dealing with loneliness, I would say to look for friends and people who understand you. And I think that makes a lot of difference. And I think a lot of people think, oh, I'm lonely, I need a guy. Instead of doing that, I think like find some good girlfriends, because that'll make a world of a difference. Like I am such an advocate for being single and being happy when it's your time in life. Like don't be miserable just because you're single. All right, so those are all the questions pretty much. My camera is ready to die, so I hope you guys enjoyed this and I will see you in the next one. Bye.